Hey guys, Melissa Caddick is an interesting woman who has been making headlines this whole year so far in Australia. She is a 49-year-old Australian woman. She's a self-proclaimed financial advisor, but it's been found out that she was holding a fake financial services license. She was essentially pretending to be this smart investor who, had become so successful. She's a self-made millionaire. And supposedly she convinced several people that out of the goodness of her heart, she was going to help them. And she got close enough to gain their trust. And they were essentially her clients, but they were all family members and friends who she'd become close with, to the point that they considered it a friendship before a business relationship. And one by one, she pitched them this retirement investment opportunity. She basically said, give me your money, I've got a plan and it's gonna work out great. She did this whole professional pitch and with her license, and she was establishing this company. But as of November 12th, 2020, Melissa Caddick has been missing and nobody's been able to find her. She has not been seen. There's been extensive investigation and there's not even one digital trace, which is really rare these days.
Police are treating the disappearance of an Eastern Sydney mother and businesswoman as suspicious.
Caddick vanished from her Dover Heights home more than 2 weeks ago after it was raided by the corporate watchdog and federal...
Corporate watchdog banning the businesswoman from leaving the country, selling assets or sending money offshore.
After Melissa was declared missing, the initial investors, started to get worried a little bit, and they were like, okay, she's gone and we can't get in touch with her. Where's our money? Oh, and then they see that she was investigated by a corporate watchdog, ASIC. They were like, okay, the money that they had initially put in was not even there, let alone growth of the account that they were supposed to see.
I could see from the clothes and the jewellery that she was spending money.
Big money.
Cheryl and wife Faye believed their investments had grown to almost $1 million under Melissa Caddick's management. They thought their money was invested with the Commonwealth Bank's share trading arm, CommSec. But when they called to check their account, they were told the account number was fake.
So all of a sudden you're getting this sinking feeling, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And you're thinking, this is true.
In self-managed superannuation, the members are also the trustees, so Cheryl and Faye aren't covered for losses due to fraud or deception, as they would be if their money was held by a retail or industry fund. Cheryl and Faye fear they may now have to sell their home to fund their retirement.
According to court documents, Melissa started taking money from these people as early as 2009. And these are basically just middle-income people who were just trying to save for their retirement. It wasn't like millionaires who got swindled, but out of all the people that she fooled from 2009 onward in this one scheme, she got away with $25 million. She took that much in total out of people and gave absolutely nothing back in return. It was all just lies and promises. Melissa was living this lavish lifestyle in Sydney with a view overlooking the harbor. She flew first class to Fiji and Times Square, New York, and other places that scream, I'm rich.
So that was the level of friendship, that she was like, come on in, whatever's mine in the wardrobe, you can borrow too.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was in there?
Well...
Sounds like Aladdin's cave.
It was. You name it, Christian Dior, Chanel, gowns, all the shoes, photos taken of the shoes, all labelled in boxes, very organised.
Melissa played the long game to win trust, turning friends into clients.
So they invested their life savings and they thought Melissa was going to be responsible with their money. They thought she was licensed for this. And then on top of that, she was acting, obviously. Now we know she was acting, but she was being believable, apparently, that she was a good person and that she was trustworthy. The corporate watchdog ASIC noticed there was something fishy about Melissa's company, and they tipped the Australian Federal Police. The feds ended up raiding Melissa's home, and believe it or not, the next morning after that happened, she fled, and that's when she disappeared and has never been seen since. So she wasn't charged, there wasn't a warrant for her arrest, and even to this day, we're waiting for February 22nd as the next court date. She's still technically a free person, but she's just a missing person. In the raid, the police seized her passport, and They just basically took any evidence that they could collect. And so since then, it's come out to the public about how she's been spending these people's money over the years, rather than actually investing it into these accounts like she was supposed to as a real investor. It's been reported that she spent the money on paying her own credit cards off, which were used to pay about $600,000 a year in luxury items and travel. Here's the breakdown of some of the things that she spent on. It's pretty impressive. And she used the money also to fund about $400,000 a year in mortgage payments. So not only was Melissa Caddick not doing what she was supposed to with these people's money, but she was also splurging. She was just spending it right in front of her eyes. I'm sorry, it's not funny, but it's like, what is so amazing about this story, and I feel like why it's such a big buzz in Australia, is just to think like how seems like an everyday woman. Like, it seems like everyone thought that she was normal. Nobody thought she had anything wrong with her, but clearly she is psycho and insane for someone to be able to be that manipulative and to calculate ahead to that extent, to be able to sleep at night. Apparently she spent an exorbitant amount of money on protein shakes. One of her clients was her fitness trainer, and she's like in this whole fitness world. Like, I don't know how she takes care of how she would take care of herself and like sleep at night and do this to the people that she was spending time with, to the people that she was around. I don't know. It's insane. I don't know if she was using this luxury lifestyle to convince people, basically, that she was, trustworthy because she had made all this money like this, and so it was nothing for her to help other people. They could borrow her dresses, they could borrow her handbags, whatever. It's almost like she was trying to give them a taste of what they could have, if they sold in on like her lifestyle. It's like they, like it's like baiting them almost. And that's exactly what she did. She baited these people, took their money, and she's run.
A composed husband.
Melissa is a dedicated and incredible mother, a beautiful daughter, sister, and loved wife. We are asking the community to help bring Melissa home. That is all.
And an older brother, less so.
Melissa, please let us know that you're safe and sound. We love you.
Here's what's fishy, according to investigators. Her husband, despite being at home and like knowing she was missing after she suddenly disappeared with no phone, her passport had been taken, no wallet, nothing on her. And the husband didn't report her until 30 hours after she'd been missing. He then, went to the police and said, my wife's missing. 30 hours, that's over a day. That's like a day and some. And so that really concerned them, because they were like, well, if you actually were worried about her, if you felt like it was, foul play or something, then, and she was a wealthy person, so it could have been crime related. It could have been, I don't know, like, he should have been worried, was what investigators thought. And not only did he not report his wife being missing until 30 hours later, but also he just appeared so calm in any kind of public appearances and with investigators. And investigators also said that her 13-year-old son appeared like startlingly calm, where they were like, okay, like it really seems like he's either in shock and handling it like in his own way, or he just knows what's going on, because he didn't seem like a boy who wanted to know where his mom was. He seemed content, calm, whatever. So that makes it look suspicious. The other thing that is fishy is that right after the raid, after the federal police came in and took evidence from her house, she was freaking out and whatever. She was, there's footage of that. That's actually their last footage that they have of her, because she turned off her CCTV security after that. So there's no more footage. All the cameras were shut off, so you couldn't see her leave her house the next morning. And for all we know, she could have dyed her hair or put on a wig. She could have even had this all set up and, as a plan B and systematically know what she was going to do in this situation if she ever wanted to be on the run. Some have speculated that it was a suicide. Really, investigators don't think that this is, a strong theory, because she didn't seem like she was someone prone to that, and it seemed like there was too much planning in place, and there was too much, calculation not being traced from turning off the CCTV to not bringing anything with her, and the fact that there's not been a body found, and they have looked at these places, where people suspect one might go to commit suicide in the area. There's been extensive investigation during this time. I mean, she has been missing since November 12th. I think even her spending on the jewelry, because if you look at how much she spent on like jewelry, designer items, like things that you can sell. Obviously, if you're on the run, you're gonna want cash instead of whatever. And at pawn shops, yeah, you have to show your ID and stuff, but remember, she had a fake financial advisor license, and she could easily have a fake ID. She could have an entirely fake driver's license, passport, everything. And so I think she would be able to pawn these things like with a fake ID and be able to live with cash, and she can change her identity since her face is everywhere on the news. Like she could, change her look. You're wearing a mask when you go out. Those are my theories. And although a lot of people are speculating suicide, murder, I think the overwhelming evidence suggests that she has done such a great job of staying off the grid because she had this planned where she had a fake identity and stuff, where she could set up a new phone and new everything with the fake identity. So, and considering she had the money at her disposal, there's a number of things she could do to really be more advanced in changing her appearance. She probably had all kinds of fancy sunglasses and scarves, and I don't know. After that raid happened, I think she switched off the CCTV cameras and said, okay, plan B. She might have looked at herself in the mirror and said, plan B, activate. I don't know. But yeah, she's insane. Wow. And I hope that she's found and has to face the consequences, has to show up to court and face these victims who have been scammed out of their money, because it is so sad the way that it went down, how she befriended them and she tricked them and had them in her own home. I'm just, like I said, I just can't imagine how she's slept with herself, how she lived with herself. So let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll talk to you in another video. Bye for now.